Hello, everybody. This is Howard, the Teaser King, coming to you with Week 10 of the NFL. What a huge week I had last week. 5-1 in pros, 13-0 in college, 18-1. Had them all in several teasers. It's a huge, huge week. Very good. As I say, when you get pocket aces, that's what you're looking for, but not. You don't always get them every week, and that's really the problem. Some weeks you get pocket aces. There's good games, and some weeks there's not. I mean, I won with I had four locks. Frisco, winner. Louisiana, Lafayette, loved it. Winner. The under in the Miami Jet game. I really would have taken Miami. It was clearly a case of the Jets. First of all, I have having a difficult time finding favorites that can actually win, more or less road favorites, more or less the Jets as a road favorite are going to beat anybody. And Miami with Fitzpatrick's a much better team than with Rosen. And the Jets with Darnold basically suck. So that's what you have is that one. I had Miami. I actually played it under. Um, and then the Dallas Monday night lock over the Giants. Got revenge for losing to the Jets when I locked them there. After two losses and a must-win, Dallas lost to the Jets, but now they beat Philly and now they're rolling and they're playing. They played the Giants team who they own. They had won the last six, if not longer, and it was just a huge trend on Dallas. So that made it a lock. Plus laying the one. They're a good road favorite. The Giants are terrible home dogs. Everything about it was perfect, and they made you sweat in the first half, but then they came on and took care of business. All right, this week. This week I got about 6 games that are worthwhile. It's hard to bet like the Jets and the Giants. I mean, that's like 7-6 offsuit. Like, where do you go with it? Do you go under, over? Do you take a team? I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's impossible to pick some of these games. Um, KC, Tennessee. Well, maybe KC if Mahomes play, but you don't know. So there's a lot. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 7 games that are good. Maybe an over under. Uh, yeah, I got one over under. But let's go to all right. Let's go to Seattle and San Francisco Monday night. Is San Francisco real or not? Again, this is like college. They played 6, 7 weeks. You still don't have an idea. They thought they were when they beat Carolina, and then they go and barely beat Arizona and look terrible in the game. They beat the Rams without Gurley. The rest of the schedule has been. It's just amazing how bad Washington and Miami and the Jets are, and these teams are playing all of them. Like New England played them all, and then they played Washington, and then here's Frisco who played them all. Um, they played Miami and Cincinnati, and well, actually they didn't play Miami. They must have played Cincinnati. Then Cleveland they killed. Um, but they haven't played their meat of the schedule yet, which is Seattle and the Rams healthy. Although I think Seattle's better than the Rams this year. So we got Frisco at 6.5, over under I think 46. Let me double check. That's the thing with the number; it changes so often, and you're trying to write it down that it ends up causing you problems. Yeah, 46. So it's a 6.5, 46. So let's get into the numbers. Um, Frisco's a home favorite. Let's start with this year, 19. We've now got 8 games in, so we've got decent information of changes this year versus now we put in 18 and 19. So Frisco 3-0 is a home favorite, 8-0 overall. 1-2 against as a home favorite, 3-5. So they've been pounding you and winning these games. Seattle, 2-0 as a road dog, 6-3 with, 8-1 against, 2-0 as a road favorite. So Seattle on the road is 4-0. Seattle as a home favorite sucks. They're 2-3, 5-0 against. So basically, what's happening to Seattle for some reason at home? It must be who they're playing. I mean, I know they played New Orleans, they played Baltimore at home. They played some pretty tough teams at home, and I think they played the Rams and lost that one. So their home schedule has been murder. On the road, they're 4-0, and they're just a great dog is all I can say. Let's go back to 18-19. 18-19, Frisco now is 5-2 as a home favorite, 19-5, so 79%. So you can see where the change is taking place is this year. You've got an 8-game sample size, so it's really, you like to look back at the past years to get a better look. Now, we've had Shanahan there, I think, for 3 years now, so this is accurate with him. Seattle, on the road, 12-1. As a road dog, 8-0. 20-6 overall. Seattle's 7-1 against as a road dog. So Seattle's winning these games close on the road, but getting the cover. I think I had them. I locked them against Cleveland. It was a joke as being a dog there. And there was probably, I think, one other time. Anyway, here's Seattle. 8-0. We'll go back one more year to 17. Frisco, I don't expect to see anything. They're 6-2. They haven't been home favorite a lot. They're 7-4 as a home dog. So they're not, they're more of a dog than a favorite. So it's just as new to them. 31-9, 78%. Seattle, 7-1 road favorite, 13-0 road dog, 20-1 on the road. Unbelievable. This is what I'm telling you, them, is that certain teams love to be dogs, love to play on the road. Certain teams want to be a home favorite. Certain teams are better as a home dog. Tampa Bay, 6-4 as a home favorite, 8-0 as a home dog. Bet against, 8-2 as a home favorite, 5-3 as a home dog. So here you can see Tampa Bay, they're much better as a home dog than a home favorite. Bet against Cleveland, 17-2 as a road dog. Take Baltimore, 11-0 as a road dog. Houston, 16-2 as a road dog. We know San Diego, Kansas City, 6-1. So the personality here is Seattle. When we look at the numbers, Frisco scores 29 a game, gives up 13. Again, their schedule has been easy. Have they played quarterbacks like Russell Wilson? Probably not. They do get about 400 yards a game. They throw for 220 and run for 170. Seattle is a little weaker on defense. They score 28 a game, but they give up 26. So their defense hasn't been good. However, they have played Baltimore with Jackson. They have played Rams. They played New Orleans. So they played some really good teams. New Orleans was funny. They scored on a block punt, or a punt return and a block punt or something. So they had 2 touchdowns that were defensive. They passed for 278 and run for 130. So they get 400 yards. Again, you got Russell Wilson, one of the top quarterbacks in the league, running against Garoppolo, who is, you don't know. When I look at the stats, let's see. Where are we? I'm looking for the quarter. Garoppolo, 8 games, 70% completion, 225 a game, 13 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, which is okay. They're more of a running team, which is good. Russell Wilson, 68% completion, goes for 278 a game, 22 touchdowns and 1 interception. When we look head to head, there really wasn't much of a trend there, as much as I was hoping for. If I go back to 2012 and the games in Frisco, see, it's a bit of a dog. Okay, the Dogs 6-1. Frisco and Seattle are 5-2. Seattle is 3-0 as the Dog. This is since 2012. Excuse me, 2014. Frisco and Seattle. In Frisco, the Dogs 4-1. And if I go back to 2008, there's really nothing there. The Dogs 7-4, the favorites 7-4. So that doesn't help you in a way. You had Harbaugh there. So if you look at since 2012, it's a dog series. So I think this is a close game. Again, if I look at it without a point spread, you just see Seattle, Frisco. And, you know, how good is Frisco? Well, they're a good team. They're not 8-0. They're not New England. They can run the ball, but I think they've been shown. I think Seattle knows how to defend them. I know Seattle's defense is not what it used to be. And if anybody knows how to defend Russell Wilson, it's Richard Sherman. So that, for whatever that's worth, will definitely help. I think the spread's too high in this game. My spread was Frisco by 4, which I liked Seattle in 10, so it was 6.5. I'm really liking Seattle in 12.5. I think this number is just, I think it's too high. I don't think you don't blow out Coach Pete and Russell Wilson. I don't care who you are, you're not going to blow them out. Seattle could easily win. They're a very strong road team. Last year with the Rams, when the Rams are so good, they went to LA and beat them. And as you can see by their personality, the Seattle as a road dog is extremely strong. So with all that said, you're looking at Seattle is a good road dog. Frisco's a good team, but they're not going to blow out Seattle. Can Seattle win? Absolutely. Who's got the better coach? Seattle. Who's got the better quarterback? Seattle. Who's got the better defense? I'm going to say Frisco right now, but again, you don't know. Has Frisco seen a quarterback like this? I don't think so, because they haven't really. The best team, the Rams, Jared Goff is nowhere near Russell Wilson. Carolina, Jeff Allen, I mean, he's okay. And, Cincinnati, they beat some real Cleveland. I mean, nobody's. So it's like the Alabama, if you watch my college tape, it's the same scenario. They haven't played anybody, so you really don't know how good they are, but you can kind of tell. And with Frisco, when you look at what they did last week with Kyler Murray, and it made it a real close game at the end, I got to believe Seattle has all the tools to make it a very close game, and if not, win the game. So again, if you have the quarterback and you have the coach, the defense I wish would be a little bit better, but they'll be there. That's my point. So I look at this game as very close. I love Seattle as a road dog. Take Seattle plus the 12.5. Over under, I don't know. Seattle's an over team. Frisco's probably an over team. Right now their defense is good, so I have them as an A, but I think that at the end of the day they're an over team. They are running the ball, and I don't trust Garoppolo in a big game, so we'll see how he is. But it won't be like the Rams. I think they won 20-3 or something. That's because Gurley was out and Goff is terrible. So with Russell Wilson, he makes his own day. He can run. He's got that interesting element about running back and then running for 10, 15 yards, sliding and getting up for the next play, hitting Lockett and those guys. So I definitely like Seattle in the 12.5 here. Again, this should be a big week. Locks in the pros, and then I have about 6, 7 pretty strong plays in the pros. As I said, college, and last week was 18-1, so I'm trying to not get too big of a head with it and just stay focused and do your picking, because when you do very successful picking, you tend to relax and live off of that and not really study hard and do well. So I'm keeping to, I'm looking for that strong versus weak and strong versus strong, where you get it. Like here, Seattle and Frisco, I think the game, I think Frisco's a little bit better, but I'm not even sure. They haven't played anybody. Go beat Dallas and go beat Minnesota, and how are you against Green Bay? And beat New England and KC with Mahomes, then we can really tell how good you are. But until that happens, beating these littler teams, it's like Alabama in college. They don't play anybody, so you really don't know what you got. You have an idea, but their defense isn't as strong as it usually is. So anyway, good luck. Come on board. Should be a big pro week. And in the pros, I got the information. That's out there now. So I'm not guessing. And there's so many. The thing that bothers me about the pros is all the different coaches. There's 7 or 8 different new coaches you got to learn. And you see some of them suck, some of them are good, but very few of them are good. And this analytics stuff does not work in football. I don't think it works in baseball. I don't think any of that math shit works. It's all players. It's the guy who can play in the clutch wins the game for you. There's no analytics that can measure heart, measure soul, measure passion. And that's what you need to bet football and to play it. There's no analytics. Analytics are just bullshit. Do not listen to them. And these teams are all we got to pass. Yeah, how many passing teams win the Super Bowl? 0? I mean, none. There isn't a passing team. Dan Fouts never won. It's a team like Green Bay and Pittsburgh, who with strong defense, and Franco Harris and Bart Starr and those guys who ran the ball down your throat and played defense. That's how you win. That's how the Dolphins did it with Zaka and Kick. Jimmy Johnson did it with Dallas. Frisco did it even with Montana. They had the great defense, and Montana's short passes were really runs. He'd still have 5-6 minute drives. I'm talking about short passes, Brady passes. I'm not talking about a team that passes 50 times a game, 20 yards down the field, gets the big chunks and, doesn't have a running game, gets to the 10-yard line and can't score because they can't run because you run out of real estate. Those are the passing teams I'm talking about. Tampa Bay right now. Kansas City, until they can run, they're not going to win. Look at New Orleans. All of a sudden they got Alvin Kamara. Now they're in the championship game every year. Minnesota, Green Bay. Why aren't they there with Aaron Rodgers? Because they can't run. This year they can run. It's a whole different thing when you can have balance and run. Then you get to the 10, you can run it in. Touchdown. All right, everybody. Enjoy talking to you. Have a great week. www.teaserking.com. Come on aboard. You got Seattle, free pick. Big lot going. 6 strong pro games and many strong college games. And, I'm hoping to find a few more locks for you. If not, you got strong plays, which are just as effective. Really, the difference between a lock and a strong play is not much. It's a little bit better trend. But still, the strong plays are still very. I make a lot of money on the strong plays too. All right, everybody. Have a great week. www.teaserking.com.